So you've got some leftover turkey and you need a few carnivore recipes to use it up? I've got you covered. We have recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And of course, you don't have to use turkey. You can use leftover ham or chicken in these recipes as well. As always, any recipes referenced will be linked in the description below, along with any kitchen tools or special ingredients. And if you're following keto or low carb, feel free to add vegetables to any of these dishes. First, let's put together breakfast with a turkey egg bake. This makes about 6 to 8 servings. Here are the ingredients. We start with leftover turkey. We've got some cooked bacon and sausage, a dozen eggs, heavy cream, and whatever cheese you have laying around. First off, mix up all of your meats in the bottom of a baking dish, and then crack a dozen eggs. I started with 8 eggs, but I ended up using 12. You can add more or less if you like. I always mix the eggs up with a little heavy cream if I'm doing an egg bake because it makes it all a bit more fluffy. Add salt and pepper and whatever other seasonings you like, and then top with your shredded cheeses. I'm using mild white cheddar and medium cheddar, and normally I would shred these myself from a block of cheese, but I just didn't feel like doing that today. Do whatever works best for you. Mix it all together and put it in a 350 degree Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius oven for about 30 minutes or until it looks fluffy and cooked through. Pull it out, let it cool for a bit, and then cut it up. I did 8 servings, but you can do more or less depending on your crowd. I added a bit more salt and pepper and it was ready to go. This turkey egg bake also makes great leftovers. Now, let's move on to lunchtime. We have 2 variations of the turkey sandwich. First, we will make chaffles for the bread using 2 eggs and half a cup of shredded cheese. I did a 1/4 cup of the medium cheddar and a 1/4 cup of the white cheddar. Next, butter a mini waffle iron and add your mixture. It's probably best to do this with a spoon. About 3 to 4 tablespoons is good because the egg fluffs up a bit. I totally overfilled the waffle iron the first couple of times. After I let the chaffles cool, I put some of this delicious truffle mayonnaise and 2 pieces of bacon on each chaffle, and then I added the leftover turkey, and the first sandwich is complete. For the next sandwich, we're going to make some dairy-free cloud bread. I've linked the recipe video in the description. This is my first attempt at cloud bread, so bear with me. Here are the ingredients. We're going to start with 1.5 cups of powdered egg whites. Next, add some cream of tartar. I recommend maybe a teaspoon. This is a tablespoon, and I think it was too much. Next, I added some salt, and then I added 2 tablespoons of allulose, which will help caramelize the bread. Finally, I added 1.5 cups of water and mixed for about 10 minutes. This would be a lot easier with a stand mixer, and be sure to mix it on high, not low. You want the mix to end up looking like whipped marshmallows. Then I buttered a bread pan and added the mixture, piling it up and making it into a bread-like shape. You're going to put it into a 325 degree Fahrenheit or 163 degrees Celsius oven for about 30 minutes, or until the outside is golden brown. Pull it out of the oven and let it cool for a little bit, and then cut your slices of cloud bread. Now let's make our turkey sandwich. This time I've got some bacon mayo and a little bit of carnivore gravy. Both of these recipes will be linked in the description below. We're going to add some bacon, and if you're doing keto, you can add some lettuce or tomato. I am doing carnivore, so I'm not going to add that. Now this bread is legit. It's super easy to eat this sandwich, and it was delicious. We've made it to dinner time, and we will be cooking up a delicious turkey fettuccine alfredo. This is a 2-part recipe, so let's start with the carnivore noodles. Here are the ingredients. We're going to take 4 egg whites and 1 whole egg. You're looking for about 1 cup of egg total. Add a bit of salt, and then add 2 tablespoons of beef gelatin. I do not recommend whisking. There will just be too many clumps. So I would recommend using an immersion blender or just a regular blender to get the consistency right. Next, heat up a 10-inch non-stick crepe pan. This one is linked in the description below. And use a bit of butter or ghee on the pan and make sure it's nice and hot. Add about 1/3 of the mix and tilt the pan around to spread the mixture. And then wait until the edges are bubbly or crispy, and then flip it with this crepe flipper. This is also linked in the description. I ended up mixing 2 batches of eggs, and I only messed up 2 of the crepes, so I consider that a win. After cooking, let the crepes cool down for a bit, and then roll them up and cut them with a sharp knife. I separated out the noodles onto 2 plates, and then I set those aside. Next, I cut up some white and dark meat turkey, and I put that on a plate and set that aside as well. Now, let's make the Alfredo sauce. Here are the ingredients. It's super simple. Melt down 4 tablespoons of butter with 3/4 cup of heavy cream. And once it's hot, add in 1 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I add just a bit at a time, and then I mix it up before I add more. Add a bit of salt to taste if you need it, and that's the Alfredo sauce. Now, let's heat everything back up and combine. I added some butter to another pan and heated the turkey through, and then put that aside. And then I added a bit more butter and warmed up the noodles. I put half of the turkey onto the 1 plate of noodles, and then I spooned about 2.5 large spoonfuls of the Alfredo, and then topped it with some more freshly grated Parmesan, and that's it. I made 2 servings of the turkey fettuccine Alfredo, and while it doesn't look like a ton, it's really filling and delicious. I was surprised at how good it tasted while being fully carnivore, absolutely no gluten, and I didn't find myself missing real pasta at all. Hopefully you will make quick work of your leftover turkey with these recipes. Let me know in the comments if you try any of them and what you think. On the screen, I'm going to put a link to 6 carnivore holiday recipes that you can try. And with that, happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.